What is going on, everybody? It's you, it's me, it's us. We're here for another weekly live stream, and it's good to see you. It's been another week, week 5. We're into the 5th week of January, yeah. So, or 5th week of the year, rather, according to my watch. So yeah, January is almost over, and that means Aetherdrift is almost here. So we've got, what, 12, 13 days left till Aetherdrift hits Arena. Pretty exciting stuff. Today we are going to be going over Aetherdrift spoilers, so everything that has happened since last weekly stream. So we got a lot to go over, a lot to cover. Probably skim over some of the less important stuff like, you know, commons and uncommons that are obviously just draft chaff and aren't really meant to affect constructed in any meaningful way. But we will definitely go over the more exciting cards, as there are a lot of them. I've definitely had my mind changed about this set a lot. And before we get into that, I would like to take a quick moment to talk about that a little bit, because I know there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this set and just how people feel about it in general. And I really think that, especially for someone like myself who's been playing since the late 90s, I understand where a lot of people's opinions come from. You know, they just feel like Magic is getting super tropey, and, you know, it's just losing its luster, and, you know, now there's all these Universes Beyond sets and everything. And what's up, Weems? Yeah, spoilers. But yeah, I mean, I really think that if people just had a more open heart, like, because at the end of the day, the game is still the game. The cards still do things. Like, if all these cards had the same words on them but had art and names that you thought were more in line with Magic, you would probably be happier. So at the end of the day, look at the content, look at the cards. The cards are cool, the mechanics are cool, whether it's start your engines or, you know, some other name for the ability, but it's the same ability, you know what I mean? Like, the problem is not the actual abilities, it's just people's perception of them, because it seems silly. You know, it's a racing set, start your engine sounds silly, it doesn't sound like Magic, but at the end of the day, it really is. It's still Magic. It's just another idea. You know, it's paying homage to some really cool stuff, you know, to Akira, and like there's so many cards in this set that are paying homage to other gaming industries and other animes and other cultural, you know, things that people really enjoy. And I think that's really cool. And I also think that a lot of people forget how many new people there are playing Magic. Magic the Gathering is still one of Wizards' cash cows. It's still one of the best performing products Hasbro has. And that's because people are learning and joining this game every single day. And, you know, they have to cater to what people like, you know, not all of us content creators who've been playing, you know, for 20 years, 30 years, are not all the ones driving the sales of this game. So I don't know. I just want everybody to kind of look at the game and look at these sets with a little bit more of an open heart, because I get really stoked for this stuff, and I'm one of those people who's been playing for a long time. So with that, again, we're going to do some spoilers, and then once we're done with spoilers, we're going to do some Chromatic cube draft. So make sure you hit that like button on your way in if you have not already, so we can get this out there to more people. The more the merrier. I'd love to have you guys here to chat. So let's get into those spoilers. All right, we are going to work our way backwards from today back. So, hold on. For some reason, it's acting up. Come on, spoilers. Don't do this to me now. Why is the webpage acting up? Okay. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. All right, my handy dandy microscope here. All right, so we've got Ovoya, Automech Artisan. This is a really cool one. Definitely feels a little more commander focused. but a very cool ability. Very small body for 4 mana, but each creature that's attacking one or more of your opponents has trample. So it basically gives all your creatures trample for 4 mana, which is pretty cool. And then you can pay 1 mana to tap it and put a creature or vehicle from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. If you can give this haste and activate that ability the first turn it comes out, pretty sweet. Problem is keeping it around and keeping it alive. So, but that 1 mana being able to put a creature onto the battlefield is pretty sick ability. So I'm sure somebody will find a way to abuse this. I know I will certainly be trying. Broodheart Engine. Now this is a really interesting uncommon. For green and black, we get an artifact that says at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. This is great for all those mill strategies, for any kind of delirium, reanimation stuff, all that other thing. And it is a reanimation spell on top of that, because later on you can pay 4 mana to sacrifice it and return a creature or vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield. That is pretty sweet. So this is a very strong uncommon, I think. I think this will definitely see some amount of play. Point Away, I like this card because it's an enchantment that can be used to sacrifice to things later on if you need to. The reason I like it, and I'm not super crazy interested in the second ability as much, is just because the only way Start Your Engines will be a good mechanic and constructed is if we have enough ways to start that speed on turn 1 and 2. If there aren't enough cards that can start your engines in the first couple of turns of the game, then this is just, the mechanic will just never see play. And I would hate to see an entire mechanic from the set just completely flop, but I think Start Your Engines is definitely the highest risk of flopping. Just because you find most cards need max speed of 4. You know, you need to be at max speed to get a benefit from it. There's a few good ones like the Demon that was revealed, which we'll go over a little later, that don't require you to have max speed, but most of them do. This is one of the ones that's actually good regardless. So no matter what, you can pay 4 mana and get at least 1 basic from this. But most of the time, by the time you get to 4 mana, you should be able to get 2 or 3 lands out of this. So that's pretty sweet. So I actually like the card a lot. I think there's a lot of synergies with the enchantments and the vehicles that people might not be seeing right away with older sets that use bargain and things like that to get some extra value out of these things sitting on the battlefield. Fuel the Flames. I like this card a lot. Deal 2 damage to each creature, recycling 2. So, I mean, obviously, you know, it's 1 more mana than Pyroclasm, but it's an instant. So that's really good. And the fact that the one thing that is difficult about running cards like this in a deck, especially in best of 1, is when it's dead, it's dead. If your opponent is playing big creatures or control, this card is just worthless almost. And so the ability to actually cycle this when it is not relevant is very useful. So I actually really like this card, and I think it will absolutely see play. I don't know if it'll see as much play in best of 1, but it'll definitely see play in some sideboards here and there, because we haven't had a good instant speed, deal 2 damage to everything kind of card in a long time. All right, we got Gastel Thrill Roller, a 3 mana 4/2 trample haste. When it enters, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. So it's a vehicle. So basically, it's a 3 mana 4/2 trample haste, but it turns back with, stops being a creature. So it gives me kind of like lightning ball feels, but you can pay 3 mana to discard a card and return this card from the graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it as a sorcery. So it's pretty awesome, actually. I mean, it's a strong ability. It's a strong creature with a 4/2 trample haste, so you're definitely going to get a damage or 2 in at least off of it. And then if it dies in trade, you can get it back later. And then after it attacks, it's not something that can just be sat around and removed because it becomes a creature or a vehicle again, and then you can crew it later. So I actually really like this card, and I think it'll definitely see play and give red some more things to make us mad. Rover Blades, we got a 3 mana 2/2 equipment vehicle. This is interesting. I think this is the first equipment vehicle I've seen in the set. So it is a 2/2 vehicle with double strike, and it gives equipped creature double strike. So it has crew 2 and equip 4. This sounds pretty terrible, honestly, though. So don't know how I feel about that. Salvation Engine, 4 mana, 6/10 vehicle. Other artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. Yes! We got a Tempered Steel that is not killable with a removal spell. I'm so happy about this. If you go back on my channel, you will see that I have made several Jeskai artifact lists that are artifact aggro lists that feature Urza, the one that gives +2/+2 to artifacts you control. Just because it reminds me so much of Tempered Steel from Scars of Mirrodin Block. And so the big drawback to him is that he's a 2/3, so he dies to cut down, and he's just a creature, so he dies to any removal spell. This comes down and does not die to a typical removal spell, although there are some removal spells that deal with creatures and vehicles in this set. But the best removal spells in the format do not hit this, and so it is a nice 5 mana anthem to buff up all your stuff, and it's a really solid creature. Whenever it attacks, return up to 1 target artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield, but it does have crew 6, so that is a lot of crew. But I mean, you could play something like Charge of Mites or something like that, and you know, use those to crew this. So pretty sweet card. I really like it. I'm excited about it. Skyseeker's Chariot. This card is ridiculous. I think this is such a neat card. 2 mana, 3/3 vehicle with flying. As it enters, choose a non-land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name cost 2 more to activate. And it has crew 2. I think the cool part about it is that we can hose all kinds of things. We can hose enchantments like the talents and things like that. We can hose planeswalkers with this. Like, oh, you can't plus your planeswalker without paying mana now. We can hose lands that have abilities. We can hose all kinds of stuff. I think this also increases the cost of unlocking the additional doors on rooms. So this might even be good against the demons deck, because we might be able to make the cost on that go up. Because I believe once it's on the battlefield, it is an activating ability, essentially, to unlock it. So lots of potential for this card as a hate bear. I love it. I'm excited about it. Stampeding Scurryfoot. We got a 1 mana 1/1 mouse. So we got another mouse. And then exhaust 4 mana to put a counter on this creature and create a 3/3 green elephant. That's not the worst for a common. I mean, 4 mana, you get 4/4 stats off of a 1/1 that has a relevant creature type. Pretty cool. Crash and Burn. Destroy target vehicle for 4 mana or deal 6 damage to a creature planeswalker. Pretty standard stuff to see out of a set as filler cards. We got Wretched Doll. This is some pretty cool artwork. And it does happen to have the toy tag, which I think is interesting. But it's a 2 mana 3/1 with pay a black to surveil 1 and tap it. So pretty interesting card. Bounce off, we have Power Crept Unsummon here. Return target creature or vehicle to its owner's hand. So that's a nice solid way to protect your things or remove your opponent's things. We've got Maximum Overdrive, 2 mana, put a counter on something, give it Death Touch and Indestructible till end of turn. Nice little combat trick there. This card, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the translation for this, but this card's really sweet. It's a 3 and a blue creature shapeshifter with flash. You may have this enter as a copy of a creature or artifact you control, and it has cycling too. So you can cycle it when it is irrelevant and your opponent has found a way to wipe everything off the board, so you can't do anything fun. You can still cycle it to draw something more relevant, or you can flash it in to copy things. Now, what's really neat about this is it doesn't have to be a creature deck. You could play this in, I don't know, synthesizer list. Now we've got like 8 ways to copy synthesizer, so pretty cool. Or we can copy really crazy big enchantments, like what's the 6 mana one that discovers 5 every turn? copy things like that. There's tons of vehicles we can copy that are just really strong. So this is a very interesting card. I think it's definitely got some potential. And then a really solid card for mono green here with Web Strike Elite, 2 mana, 3/3. So it's basically the same as the Raccoon that we have from Bloomborough, but this is actually really sweet. It has Reach, which is very relevant, and Cycling X Green Green. Chamil, thank you, Weems. Chamil, the Inner Sun, right? And then when you cycle this card, destroy one target artifact or enchantment with mana value X. It's a very strong ability, and you draw a card off it, so it's not completely like you just waste your entire turn doing that effect and destroy something. You actually draw a card off of it, which is pretty nice. So I really like this card, and I think it's definitely going to help mono green moving forward. All right, we've got Sheffet Arcfiend, 7 mana, 5/5 flying. When it enters, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Cycling 2. Not that exciting. We've got Massacre Worm in standard. And we also have Harvester of Misery, which are both better cards than this. So don't see this making any waves. Monument to Endurance. Now this is an interesting card. For 3 mana, we get an artifact that says whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. So we can literally slowly drain our opponent away by drawing and discarding, or you know, discarding cards with Liliana and drawing cards to make up for the discards. This is a really cool card. It's going to be really good, I think. I think that Esper artifact control is going to be a thing, and this would be a welcome inclusion in something like that, because I'm sure that there are plenty of cards that we could use to draw and discard with and take advantage of this effect. So I'm excited to see Monument of Endurance in standard, and I'm sure it will find its way there. Guardian Sunmare. This is such a cool card. It's basically Sun Titan and Crested Sunmare mixed together, sort of. It's a 5 mana, 5/5 with Ward 2. I love Ward. I think it's a great ability, and it makes me happy because it means that the card's not, you know, it's not guaranteed to be dead the turn it comes into play, especially if we're ramping. And then whenever this attacks while saddled, search your library for a non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Now, what's cool about this versus Sun Titan got stuff back out of your graveyard. This lets you get something out of your library, which means you can search for anything in your deck and slap it on the battlefield. Whether that's, you know, a ramp artifact or an aura that gets rid of something on the battlefield or an anthem or whatever. It's a pretty sweet effect, and I think it's very cool. So keep your eyes on Guardian Sunmare. Dracosaur Auxiliary, 6 mana, 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks while saddled, it deals 2 damage to any target, and it has a saddle 3. Nothing too crazy there, but it's a pretty cool ability. All right, and we have the blue vanilla legendary, which I think it's really cool if they did a cycle of vanilla legendaries. I think it's pretty fun to see, and this one's actually pretty good. I mean, a 2 mana 08 sounds like not that crazy, but I mean, that's a big wall for 2 mana. Like, talk about putting up a wall against mono red in the early game. Like, they'd actually struggle to get over this. And, you know, that's pretty impressive. So, not to mention the fact that we do have Toughness Matters cards like Tortoise, and there's even a 2 mana creature that has backup that can let this attack for 9 on turn 3. So yeah, this is actually a potentially very solid card. I don't think it's gonna like make waves in standard or anything, but you could build a deck with this in mind. Hey, what's going on, Lil Skeeves Gaming? Howdy. Welcome to the stream. Make sure you hit that like button on your way in. We've got Pact All Terror, a 4 mana 3/4, and whenever this creature or another artifact you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. At first glance, I thought this was just an absolutely terrible card, because I'm like, well, why does it only trigger off artifacts? But there are actually some ways that you can make a lot of artifacts in 1 turn, so this could potentially weirdly be a win con, but I doubt it. I don't know. I might still try to make a deck where I just try to drain my opponent with a bunch of these, but we'll see. Lumbering World Wagon, my friend Weems here lovingly compared this to Topiary Stomper, and I think that is an adequate comparison. But it's actually, in my opinion, better than Topiary Stomper. So it's a 3-mana star 4 with crew 4, and its power is equal to the number of lands we control, so it can get big. And then whenever it enters or attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. So it gets you a land right away when it enters. And then if you crew it and it attacks, you get another land, pumping it up even further. So this is a very solid card. I think it's very cool, and I think it will absolutely see play in some kind of ramp strategy. This is definitely the kind of thing Ramp has been looking for. So I definitely think that this will go right alongside Overlord of the Hauntwoods, and I think that this will be a staple 3-mana Ramp in a deck like that. We have some special guests. I'm not going to go over these super in depth because these are not standard related. So these will only be legal in the formats that they are already legal. We've got Sky Sovereign, Console Flagship. We've got Pathbreaker, Ibex, Galvanic Blast, Bone Miser, Word of Invention, Thoughtcast, Cavalier of Dawn. All very strong cards with some very cool artwork. So hopefully we'll see those artworks in Arena. Back to the regular spoilers. We have, let me scooch up a little bit here. We have Sky Serpent Seeker, a 2-mana 1/1 flying Death Touch. So this is basically like Baleful Strix, kind of, but in Simic. And then exhaust 4, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal 2 land cards. Put those lands onto the battlefield tapped and the rest onto the bottom in any order, and then put a counter on this creature. So it's a 2-mana 1/1 that is a super good blocker in the early game. If the opponent doesn't remove it, we can ramp by 2 lands for 4 mana and grow it a little bit. Will it see play? I'm not sure, but I think it's a pretty cool card. This card's got people talking. This card's pretty crazy. This card has some pretty crazy implications for a lot of formats. 6 mana seems like a lot, but it is crazy easy to make maps, treasures, clues, artifact tokens galore. There's artifact creatures everywhere. This says 1 or more artifacts, not non-land artifacts. So in older formats, you've even got artifact lands. So you can literally cast this and just make an absurd amount of mana because it is a tap ability. Your opponent cannot destroy it before you can do it. The amount of mana that you can make with this in 1 turn is insane under the right circumstances. And then that doesn't even start on the fact that there's a ton of artifacts that like to be sacrificed, that they have effects when they go into the graveyard in standard and in older formats. So I think this card is crazy. I don't know, man. Like, this card might be a mistake. There's not like a ton of super strong X spells in standard right now, but there's enough that this could be an issue. So keep your eyes on Radiant Lotus. It's already pretty expensive in paper, and I can definitely see it. Hi! Mr. Wrinkles is saying hi. He's going to start being obnoxious and bumping into my microphone and stuff. We have Regal Imperiosaur, which I thought was interesting. I think this has to do with the... I forget what the name... I think it's Marasa is the name of the plane that we've never been to before that we visit during the race in Aetherdrift. And I believe Marasa is a plane that has dinosaurs on it, and that's why we're getting some dinosaurs. Because if you notice, all the ooze cards in this set are all eating dinosaurs. All the oozes are eating dinosaurs, which is pretty cool. So we've got Regal Imperiosaur. This is ridiculous. What? Like, talk about making dinosaurs good. Like, dinosaurs only had 1 good 3-drop before. Oh, Mr. Wrinkles stream? Yeah, you're right. You know, it's all right. Here we go, Mr. Wrinkles. You wanna talk? No? No, he's cleaning himself. He's bored now. He gave it back to me. This card's super good though. 3 mana 5/4. Like, yeah, sure, it's not a 3 mana 6/6, but this does not have any caveats where it can't attack, and it also buffs all your other dinosaurs. So this makes playing the 2 mana dinosaurs that were previously pretty bad actually good, you know, because we didn't have a cheap dinosaur lord outside of like Adaptive Automaton or something. So now the Son of Gishath and the 2 mana 3/2 with Trample, all of a sudden those cards are actually relatively viable, and you could actually start to see a real aggressive dinosaurs list come into play here, especially since we have Ixali's Lorekeeper and Llanowar Elves. So we've got a bunch of 1 mana dorks to drop this early. And then we've got hasty dinosaurs in the 4 mana slot, all kinds of stuff. So this card's actually really good, and it might actually bring a dinosaur list back. Oopsie. Not quite sure what's going on here. Apparently there's too many people trying to look at Mythic Spoiler right now, and it's like breaking. All right, we got it working again. Okay. Sorry about that. Burnout Bastronaut. 1 mana 1/1 with Menace. Start your engines. This is the kind of card we need for Start Your Engines to be good. We need 1 mana cards that do it, and especially ones that are in an aggressive type shell, and this is definitely going to fit that role because it has Menace, which means that it's very unlikely that even though this doesn't have haste, that we cannot get damage in with it the following turn. So this is probably what I would consider a top tier Start Your Engines card, because it's a 1 mana Start Your Engines. So you're starting the speed on turn 1, and then as long as it survives, it's very difficult to block this on turn 2 because most people can't put 2 bodies on the field on turn 2. So you're guaranteeing that you're increasing your speed on turn 2. And then by turn 3, I'm sure you have some other way to have dealt damage on your turn to increase that speed again. And then at max speed, it gets double strike. So yeah, if there is a speed deck, this is going to be the card that makes it possible, in my opinion. I don't think, in my opinion, Rakdos is going to be where the speed is. I don't think any of the Start Your Engines cards in blue or green are really going to make that big of an impact. We might see some... Yeah, that's what I was saying, is the Menace allows for turn 2 speed. Because it's hard to block, so it makes it very easy to get through that 1 damage. And then giving it double strike makes all the pump spells that you could throw on it later on even crazier. So I think Rakdos speed will be a thing, and I think this will be at the top of the list, because there's also a black 1-drop that starts your engines. That's a 2/1. We'll see that later on, I'm sure. So there are 2 good 1-drops in Rakdos that start your engines to get your speed going, and they're both solid. We've got Gonti Night Minister, a 4 mana 3/4. Whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, that player creates a treasure token. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller looks at the top card of that opponent's library and exiles it face down. They may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Mana of any type. Thank you very much. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. And they may play it for as long as it remains exiled. I love abilities like this. I love abilities that where a creature gets you something from your opponent, and then it doesn't have to stick around for you to be able to use it later. And this is a pretty solid card. I mean, it's a 3/4 for 4. It doesn't die to a lot of burn-based removal, so it can maybe stick around. And I kind of look at it like Curiosity a little bit. It doesn't have flash, but I mean, if you're playing a bunch of evasive creatures, this is whenever a creature deals combat damage, so it's not 1 or more. So it's basically like Curiosity. You're just drawing cards from your opponent's deck instead of your own deck. So I think he's very cool, and I will definitely be trying to build something around him. Mimeoplasm Revered One. This card is nuts in my opinion. I don't know what to do with this card. I really don't. Because It's strong. I think this is a really strong card. I don't know that it's necessarily better than Zombify, but I really like the versatility of it, and I think being able to switch between things is really sweet. If you can cast this with some good mana on the battlefield, you could basically exile a few cards from your graveyard and pick a few options, have one like really crazy card like Valgavoth or something like that, and then maybe something else that's indestructible, and just different kinds of abilities that, you know, make it difficult to deal with. And then you can literally pay 2 mana at any time to make him become a copy of a creature that is exiled with him, and he gets big quickly. You pay this for 6 mana, he's a 9/9. So for 6 mana, you exile 3 creatures from your graveyard. He's a 9/9, and then he becomes copies of those creatures. So you can do some crazy stuff with this. I think he's an awesome card. I don't know if he's gonna like break standard or anything, but I think this is just such a fun build around, and I am really excited for it. Unstoppable Plan. This is a card we needed at the beginning of your end step. Untap all non-land permanents you control. So we just play a bunch of artifact mana, and all of a sudden we are casting things, you know, on our opponent's turns that we would not normally have been able to cast, and we're not being forced to do nothing on our turn. So I love how Jace is in the artwork here. But yeah, very interesting card that I think will definitely see some amount of play in some kind of like artifact mana deck. Flood the Engine, a 3 mana enchantment aura. Enchant creature or vehicle. When this aura enters, tap enchanted permanent, and it loses all abilities. So basically a draft removal spell. Ride's End, exile a creature or vehicle. It costs 3 less if it's tapped. Got lots of effects like that. 2 mana 2/2, Greenbelt Guardian, 2 mana 2/2. Target creature gains trample until end of turn, and exhaust. Put 4 counters on this creature. It's actually pretty solid elf, actually. So elves could definitely use something like this to give their big, huge elves trample. I like it. We got Ripclaw Wrangler, 4 mana 4/3. When this vehicle enters, each opponent discards a card, and crew 2. Not bad, nothing too crazy, but if we're blinking this, you know, that's pretty cool. This is not in English, so we'll come to the translation. It's basically Siege Rhino on a vehicle. 2 black-green artifact vehicle, trample. When it enters, each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life, and it has crew 2. So it's a pretty low crew cost for a 6/6 with trample. It's actually pretty sweet. And the 3 damage and 3 life is a nice 6-point life swing, and definitely worthy of living up to our friend Siege Rhino. Here's another one not in English. It's called Adrenaline Junkie. It's a Minotaur pilot. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it isn't their turn, this creature deals 4 damage to that player. And whenever you activate an exhaust ability, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's a pretty solid card. We have a card like this already that deals damage. It's a dinosaur, Scytheclaw Raptor, that deals damage whenever someone casts a spell that's not on their turn. So having 2 of those is pretty sweet. Let's scooch this up. Oh no. It's broken again. This is getting very frustrating. Let me switch it up here to another website. This is in the same order, so this looks a little less pretty, but maybe this website will not be broken. Okay, so we're on Spectacular Pileup. 5 mana, destroy all creatures and vehicles, lose indestructible till end of turn, then destroy all creatures and vehicles, cycling 2. This is fantastic. It's definitely not Sunfall, but man, is this a good board wipe, especially in a set full of vehicles. And the fact that it's a destruction-based board wipe that removes indestructible is very solid. It means that you can't protect your stuff from it. And when it's dead, it's got cycling. There's nothing better than tacking cycling onto cards that do not have a use in certain matchups, and this is definitely one of those. If you're playing in a control mirror match, you definitely don't want this, and being able to cycle this away is awesome. Terrarian World Tyrant. This is a 5-mana 9/7 dinosaur ooze. That's it. 5 mana for a 9/7. It's a big dinosaur ooze. Tyrox Saurid Tyrant. Now this is interesting. It is a dinosaur warrior, so it goes very well with the green, the 3-mana dinosaur lord we were just talking about. And yeah, it's a 4/1, but it's 2 mana, and being able to trigger abilities that want something with power 4 or greater on 2 mana is pretty cool. So I think this is actually a very neat vanilla legendary. And I think it might actually maybe see some play because it's a very aggressively statted creature. So we've got Calaxian Hunger Tyrant. This is the black one. It is a 3-mana 7/2. That's it. 3-mana 7/2. So if there's there might be another card we haven't seen spoiled yet that cares. I mean, I guess you could just fling these things at people, right? Fang Druid Summoner. We've got a 4-mana 2/4 with reach. When it enters, you may search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with no abilities, reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. It's interesting. You can go fetch your big, huge, dumb vanilla legendaries with this, so pretty cool. Rise from the Wreck. We've got a 3-mana sorcery. Return up to 1 target creature card and up to 1 target mount card, up to 1 target vehicle card, and up to 1 target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. This is pretty crazy. I don't know if there are any dinosaur mounts. Are there any dinosaur mounts? Dinosaur Dragon Mount. This is a terrible card though, but there is a Dinosaur Dragon Mount. That's a lot of cards to get back for 4 mana if you have all those abilities. If you can fit all those into your deck. That's a lot of cards. We have Pit Automaton. This is a pretty sweet card. A 2-mana 0/4 defender, and you can tap it to add 2 colorless mana only to activate abilities. Exhaust are abilities, so this basically adds 2 mana for your exhaust abilities, which is pretty cool. And you can pay 2 mana to tap it, and so sorry. You can copy your next exhaust ability that you activate this turn. That's really cool with the new loot. Afterburn Expert. This is the kind of card that actually gives me a little bit of hope that exhaust might be a really interesting and good effect, and there might be a deck built around it, because it's a 3-mana 4/2 that you can pay 4 mana to put counters on, which that's not super crazy, but whenever you activate an exhaust ability, you get this back from your graveyard to the battlefield for free. It's pretty good. Collision Course. A 2-mana sorcery with choose 1, destroy target artifact, or deal X damage to target creature, where X is the number of permanents they control that are creatures and or vehicles, or you control that are creatures and or vehicles. So that's actually pretty cool. And not crazy, but I think it's a neat card. Sorry, my allergies are always so terrible. I feel so bad. All right, we got Trade the Helm, 5 mana with cycling to exchange control of target artifact or creature you control with an artifact or creature your opponent controls. It's a neat effect. Nothing crazy though. And then Spire Mech Cycle, 5 mana for a 5/4 with haste. Exhaust, tap another untapped mount or vehicle you control. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each mount and or vehicle you control. If this had trample, I would say it was decent. It does not have trample, so I don't think it's that great. Daring Mechanic, 3 mana, 3/3, pay 4, put a counter on target mount or vehicle. It's pretty solid. It's a homage to Mario Kart. As you can see, that guy looks a lot like Mario, and he is riding on a cart chasing after people. There's a few homages to Mario, as you're about to see on this next card. Spike Shell Harrier. This is literally the blue shell from Mario Kart. It's a 5 mana 4/4. When it enters, return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If that opponent's speed is greater than each other player's speed, reduce that opponent's speed by 1. This cannot reduce their speed below 1. It's literally blue shell. It looks like the blue shell. It has the ability that blue shell has, which is to slow down the person in first place and stop them. It's just great. I love it. That's super awesome flavor. Scrap Compactor. 1 mana for an artifact that you can pay 3 to sack it and deal 3 damage, or pay 6 to destroy a creature. Nothing too crazy there. Locks it on Surveyor. We've got a 3 mana 3/3 with Start Your Engines. At max speed, you can pay 3 to exile it from your graveyard and draw a card. Nothing too crazy there. Very good draft card. We have Gastel. Why is it doing that? There we go. Gastel Blockbuster. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice a creature or vehicle, and when you do, destroy target artifact and opponent controls. It's not terrible for a common. Diversion Unit, a 2 mana 2/1. Now this card is crazy. This card I think is going to see some play. It is a 2/2 flyer for 2 mana with pay 1. There's a Hermit from last Innistrad set that does this, but it doesn't have flying. And it's relevant that it's an artifact creature because, you know, that holds some relevance in a lot of different archetypes. So this is an uncommon that is going to see some play, especially in like that Tempered Steel style deck list I'm talking about. This is exactly what they want. Play this, counter their board wipe with it by sacrificing it. It's just a really good card. I think this card's going to see a ton of play. Pride of the Road, 4 mana, 2/5 Vigilance with Start Your Engines. Max speed at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature or vehicle gains Trouble Strike till end of turn. Nothing too crazy there. This card, the Speed Demon. Sorry. The Speed Demon. This card, whew, this is a card. 5 mana for a 5/5 flying trample. Already pretty solid for a demon. Demons is already a very strong and relevant archetype in Standard right now. And it has Start Your Engines. At the beginning of your end step, draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your speed. This is a super crazy power up after Shieldred. This is going to make Shieldred good again, in my opinion. Because following this up after a Shieldred is insane. Especially if you already have some speed before you play this and you're drawing like 2 or 3 cards. You only lose 1 life per card here, and you gain 2 life per card off Shieldred. So you're netting cards just like you would with any other draw a card, lose life effects. And it's just a really solid threat. So it needs to die immediately. If your opponent does not have an answer for this, it is going to get carried away, and your opponent is going to have a bad time. So very strong card. I think this card will get expensive. Riptide Gearhulk. This Gearhulk is crazy in my opinion, especially with the amount of blinking effects that we have. I've seen people talking about playing this in a deck with Nico and using Nico to bounce to exile this and turn the shards into Riptide Gearhulks. It's a 2/5 with double strike and prowess. Like, that's a body for 5 mana. And when it enters, for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library third from the top. So you remove something, any non-land permanent, out of the way. It's Teferi. Like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, that's his -3 ability, is to put a non-land permanent third from the top. So it's a crazy good body. And Teferi's -3 ability baked into 1 creature. This is a really solid Gearhulk, and I think that it's absolutely going to see play. We got Dune Drifter, X white and black for a 3/3 vehicle with crew 2. When it enters, return target artifact or creature with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think this is an interesting card. I don't know that it'll see a ton of play, but it's definitely got some applications in cheaper decks that are looking to just reanimate small creatures. and I think it could see some play in a deck like that. Voyage Home. This card is what makes me believe in an Affinity Artifacts control list. It is so easy to get 5 artifacts on the battlefield that are not creatures and that don't get removed by things with either map tokens or treasures or clues or whatever. You know, you've got Tome, you've got Treasure Map, you got all these different artifacts that do stuff and that help reduce cost or that help you draw cards or scry or whatever it is. This being 2 mana, like if you cast this for 2 mana, you're having a great time. Draw 3 cards and gain 3 life for 2 mana, and it's not hard at all. I'm telling you right now, it is not going to be difficult to cast this card for 2 mana. This is an amazing card draw engine for a control deck that is based around artifacts, and I'm telling you right now, this card is going to be good. Riverturn Monument. Speaking of artifacts that we can play in a control deck, 2 mana, pay 1 mana, tap it, any number of target players each mill 2 cards. We don't have to mill, we can just mill our opponent. And then, so every turn we're milling our opponent 2 cards, and then you can pay exhaust to any number of target players each mill cards equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. So once our opponent gets a bunch of cards in their graveyard, we pay 4 mana and mill them for that much more. This is going to make opposing Reanimator decks a little bit worse, because if you want to just play this in a deck, you can probably play Ghost Vacuums alongside this. So I can see a kind of artifact mill control strategy maybe, where you play Ghost Vacuums in this and you mill your opponent and Ghost Vacuum anything relevant just in case they are playing Reanimator. And then because they're already milling themselves, you just keep snatching up all the relevant creatures and then eventually mill them out with this ability plus Jace. It's just crazy. This is a really solid card, and I think it's going to make mill fun. Thundering Broodwagon. We've got a 6 mana vehicle with Golgari colors, a 6/5 with Crew 3. It also has Cycling 2, very relevant. So if you're just not needing this, you can cycle it away and find something better. But when it enters, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 4 or less. It's very expensive for that effect, but it does leave behind a 6/5 Menace Reach creature, so pretty sweet. We've got Veteran Beast Strider. Boy, if this doesn't make Wilt Leaf Liege happy. It's a 3 mana 3/4 human knight. At the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control, and then you can pay 4 mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. I think this is pretty cool because you could also play this alongside Enduring Vitality, and so all your creatures tap for mana, and then they all untap, and you can have other abilities that either create creatures or do other things, and be untapping all your creatures every turn and being able to re-tap them for mana to do stuff. So I think this is a pretty cool card. Racer Scoreboard, 4 mana, artifact, start your engine. When it enters, draw 2 cards, discard a card. Max speed, your spells cost 1 less to cast. I don't think this card will see play because you want this in a control deck, and control's not going to be playing enough early start your engines cards in my opinion. So I don't think this card will see play. Gastel Raider, 2 and a black for a 2/1 with start your engines. When this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose an instant or sorcery card from it, and that player discards that card. At max speed, it gets +1/+1 and has menace. So if you have max speed, it's a pretty solid body. It's a 3/2 with menace. That's not bad. And it's basically Sin Collector. So everyone has been comparing this card to Sin Collector, which is a Orzhov 2/2 that does the exact same thing. Being able to target relevant board wipes or removal spells or counters or whatever they have is very sweet, and I think this card is very good. It's not going to replace every discard effect. There will be some cases where the Lizard is better. It just really depends on what your deck is afraid of. If you're playing an aggressive deck whose worst nightmare is a Sunfall, this is going to be better because you know it's guaranteed going to hit the Sunfall in their hand, and it doesn't require you to deal damage to do so. We got Ooze Patrol, 4 mana 2/2. When this creature enters, mill 2 cards, then put a +1/+1 counter on this creature for each artifact or creature in your graveyard. That's pretty cool. That could be a very big creature for 4 mana. It's not hard to put a lot of creatures and artifacts in your graveyard by turn 4. You play this and suddenly you have an 8/8 or a 10/10 for 4 mana. So I think it's a pretty cool card. Risen Necrogent, 5 mana, 5/4. Start your engines. Max speed at the beginning of your end step. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I think this is actually an okay, solid uncommon if you can get your max speed up pretty quickly. Making 2/2s every turn is pretty awesome. So if it lives till the end of your turn, it's basically 7/6 worth of stats for 5 mana. That keeps making more zombies every turn. Gas Guzzler. Here is our other 1 mana Start Your Engines card that I think is really going to make Rakdos Start Your Engines a deck. It's a 1 mana 2/1. It enters tapped, so you know, it's not like it has haste or anything, so it doesn't really matter. And then at max speed, you can pay a black to sacrifice another creature or vehicle to draw a card. It's really solid. We have Transit Mage. This is sorry, dry throat. Told you my allergies are really acting up today. What's going on, Aldo? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for being here. Please make sure to hit that like button on your way in. We are about halfway through talking about spoilers, and then we will be doing some Chromatic Cube draft. This is the last card in a very, very long, I want to say it's 24-year cycle. We've had mages that fetch artifacts from all over the place. Thank you so much for the subscription, Aldo. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I definitely love making brews, and there will be lots more of that. We're just playing some Chromatic Cube draft today to kind of take a break from standard. Just, you know, we've got Aetherdrift coming, and I just thought it'd be fun to take advantage of the fun event on Arena, because Chromatic Cube draft, in my opinion, is one of the most fun events to come out right before the new set each set. And so yeah, we'll do that after this. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I try, it's probably because in my videos I try not to be super pushy about that kind of stuff. Like, I always mention it like once in the beginning and once at the end quickly, but I'm not like, please subscribe to my channel right now, because I don't know, I don't want to be annoying. But it is a 3 mana 2/2 that enters, and then you can search your library for an artifact card with mana value 4 or 5, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. I think this is actually a really solid card because most of the Gear Hulks are 4 or 5 mana, so pretty cool tutor. We got Slick Imitator, a 2 mana 1/3 with Start Your Engines, and then max speed, pay 1 and sacrifice this creature to target a spell you control. A spell, any spell, so creature, artifact, enchantment, it's not an instant or sorcery, and you may choose new targets for the copy. I think this is actually, like, if there's any blue cards that are gonna make a Start Your Engines deck work, it's probably this one. This is a really cool card if you can get your speed up to 4. Aether Jacket, 3 mana 2/1 flying Vigilant Thopter, pay 2 mana to sacrifice it and destroy another target artifact. I don't think that's too crazy, but it's a cool card for draft. We have Reckless Velocitar, 4 mana 3/3. Whenever this creature saddles a mount or cruise vehicle, it gets +2/+0 and trample till end of turn. Not terrible, but nothing too crazy there. I think this is just a funny card. Roadside Assistance, 2 and a white for an aura. Enchant a vehicle or creature. When it enters, create a 1/1 colorless pilot that saddles mounts and vehicles as though its power were 2 greater, and then the permanent has +1/+1 and has lifelink, so that's actually a pretty solid aura. Ranger's Refueler, we got another 2 mana 3/3 vehicle with crew 2. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, draw a card, and this card has exhaust 4. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature and put a counter on it permanently. So 2 mana 3/3 that you can crew for 2, and then later on you can pay 4 mana and make it a 4/4, and then you draw a card when you pay that 4. So it's not a totally terrible effect. We've got Haunted Hellride. I think this is such cool artwork. And I also think it's a pretty sweet card. So it's a Dimir 3/3 vehicle with crew 1. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains death touch until end of turn. Untap it. It's very nice because this does not require you to make it a creature. This is whenever you attack any creature. So you play this, your 1-drop, your 2-drop, whichever one you want, gets death touch +1/+0, and you untap it. So that's a really cool card. I think this card will absolutely see some play in some kind of Dimir aggro list, and I'm excited to mess around with it. Dredger's Insight. This is an enchantment I'm pretty excited about. It is a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever one or more artifact and or creatures leaves your graveyard, you gain 1 life. When it enters, mill 4 cards, and you may put an artifact, creature, or land from among the milled cards into your hand. I think this is one of the most premium graveyard synergy cards we've gotten in a while. I think the fact that you can gain a lot of life from this, depending on what you're doing, whether you're paying... whether you're reanimating things or you're exiling cards from your graveyard to do different effects or whatever it is, you can gain some extra life here and there, and I think that's pretty cool. And then it sits around as an enchantment that you can sacrifice to things like Bargain or Lich Knight's Conquest, which is pretty cool. So I really like this card, and I think it'll see play over a lot of other self-mill cards for sure. Then we have Embalmed Ascendant, 1 black and a white for a 1/2 with Start Your Engines. When it enters, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. If you have max speed, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. This is actually a pretty cool card. You get 3/4 worth of stats for 3 mana spread across 2 bodies, and if you can abuse this by blinking it or copying it or what have you, it's actually pretty sweet. So I don't know if it'll see play, but I really like the card a lot. We then have Haunt the Network. This is another card that really makes me think that Esper Artifact Control is going to be a deck in Standard moving forward. This is a really solid card as a win con. You just make a bunch of artifacts, either through tokens or just artifacts that do stuff. This makes 2 artifacts on its own, and then chosen player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. So 2 very strong artifact control cards, both that are uncommons, so they're not going to be hard to craft. I think this is a pretty sweet little win con. We've got Gilded Goda, a 2-mana 2/2 horse mount. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, create a treasure token, and you can saddle it for 1. It's a pretty solid card. Clamorous Ironclad, a 4-mana 6/3 vehicle with Menace and Crew 3 and cycling for a red. Nothing too crazy there. We've got Pace Setter Paragon, 3-mana 2/3 with Exhaust, pay 2 and a red to put a counter on it, and it gains Double Strike. Not too crazy there. Back on Track. Returns 5-mana sorcery, return target creature or vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then you get a pilot. Nothing too crazy there either. Bestow Greatness. Look at that cute doggo. 3 mana for an instant that gives something +4/+4 and trample till end of turn. It's a pretty solid combat trick, but that is about all. Mostly going to be a draft card. District Mascot. Now this is a card I think will see some play in Standard. This creature enters with a counter, a +1/+1 counter on it, and then you can pay 2, don't have to tap it, to remove 2 +1/+1 counters from this creature to destroy a target artifact. We had a creature like this a while ago. I forget what set it was from, but it was a 1-mana creature. It had Evolve. I want to say it was Experiment 1 was the name of the card. That grew every turn, and then you could remove some counters on it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. No. It was a white creature, but you had to pay 3 mana to do it. So it was actually more expensive to do it, and you remove 2 counters from it. It was a white creature that had Mentor. Not Mentor, the opposite of Mentor, the one where you have to attack with something bigger than it for it to grow. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a counter on it with Saddle 1. It's a pretty sweet card. You play your 2-drop, you saddle this up, it's now a 2/2 for 1 mana. That's really good. Goblin Guide, 2 mana, 1 mana 2/2s have always been very good. It's not hard to make this a 1 mana 2/2 at all, as long as you're playing a decent amount of creatures, and then you can play any number of other cards that put counters on things. Bristly Bill, the talent that puts counters on things, to make sure that you always have the ability to pay some mana and just remove a couple of counters from this guy to blow up artifacts and enchantments. So I think this is a really solid card, and I think green-based aggressive decks are definitely going to play it. Tune up, we've got a 4-mana sorcery, return an artifact or creature from the graveyard, target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a vehicle, it becomes a creature. This is pretty sweet if you've got any like really huge artifacts that you want to bring back. Explosive Getaway is another card that I think is really awesome. Did I go over these cards already? I don't think I did. I'm trying to remember where I stopped last week. Where did I stop last week? I don't remember going over any of this stuff either. Okay, I think we still got a little bit to go here. All right, Explosive Getaway, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control, and then deal 4 damage to each thing, and then that creature or artifact comes back. I think it's actually pretty cool because you can kind of play this as an aggressive board wipe that allows you to save something of yours, blow up everything else, and then get it back. Very sweet with blinking effects as well. So, Veloheart Bike. 3 mana 4/2. When it enters, you gain 2 life, and you can tap it to add a mana of any color, and then crew 2. So pretty solid ramp. The fact that it gains you a little bit of life, adds a mana of any color, and then you can still make it into a 4/2 later on, I think it's pretty cool. Stock up a 3 mana sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library and put 2 into your hand. So this is like, wow, this is power creep on divination, like for real. Like 3 mana, like divination was literally 3 mana, draw 2 cards. This is 3 mana, look at the top 5, pick 2. Very solid. Demonic Junker, another affinity for artifacts, and I think this is a really good one. When this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. If a creature you controlled was destroyed this way, put 2 +1/+ encounters on this vehicle. I think this is a card that can absolutely even go in the Esper artifact control list, because you could very quickly get this down to 2-3 mana at the most, maybe even 1 mana pretty early in the game, and just blow up a creature and then have a 4/3 sitting around that you could attack with to win later on. So very solid card. We got Perilous Snare, a 3 mana artifact with Start Your Engines. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent until an opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. And at max speed, you can put a counter on a creature or vehicle you control. Basically just a Oblivion Ring, but instead of an enchantment, it's an artifact. Nesting Bot, 1 mana 1/1, Start Your Engines. So we do get a 1 mana Start Your Engines card in white. So this does open up some potential for a white Start Your Engines deck, definitely. And then when this creature dies, create a 1/1 colorless servo, and at max speed it gets +1/+0. It's pretty sweet because it starts your speed, and then if it dies, it still leaves behind a body. So it definitely makes any kind of aggressive artifact strategy pretty viable. So I like it a lot. Beast Rider Vanguard, 2 mana 2/2, Human Knight. You can pay 5 to look at the top 3 and reveal a permanent from among them, put it into your hand. So basically 5 mana, draw a card. We have End Rider Catalyzer, 2 mana 3/1, Start Your Engines, max speed, add 2 red mana. I don't know how good that's going to be, but it's an interesting card. 3 mana 3/2, Carrion Cruiser. It's a vehicle. When it enters, mill 2 cards, then return a creature or vehicle from among them to your hand. Crew 1. It's not a terrible effect, but nothing too crazy. Roadside Blowout, 3 mana, 2 and a blue. For a sorcery, this costs 2 less to cast if it targets a permanent with mana value 1. Return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand and draw a card. What? Like, yeah, it's a sorcery, but I mean, come on. It's 1 mana, bounce their thing and draw a card. That's awesome. Oh, well, okay. It's only if it's mana value 1. But I mean, we're talking about like mono red here. Like bounce their mouse and draw a card. It's pretty sweet. We've got Brightfield Glider. It's a possum mount. 1 mana 1/1 with vigilance. When it attacks while saddled, it gets +1/+2 and gains flying till end of turn with saddle 3. Probably not seeing any play, but it's very adorable Sugar Glider card there. We have Mu Yanling Wind Rider, a 4 mana 2/4 human wizard pilot. When it enters, create a 3/2 colorless vehicle with crew 1. Vehicles you control have flying. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's not as good as Enduring Curiosity, but it's a solid card. It's a 2/4. It makes a 3/2, and yes, it has to be crude, but it's still a 3/2. And then it gives all your vehicles flying, so that's pretty sweet. Glory Heath Lynx. This is a very solid card. A 2-mana 2/3. I feel like I went over that card last week. I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did go over these cards last week. Okay. So yeah, that is the end of the cards then. Yeah, we went over these. We have the Merfolk and Cloud Spire Coordinator. Yeah, okay. All right, I was wrong. So we were almost done. So that is all the spoilers since last time we spoke, last stream. And man, this set is looking awesome. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna switch back here real quick. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, I really think that people need to just stop looking at this set as a silly trope and just appreciate the mechanics of the cards, appreciate, like, it's Magic. At the end of the day, it's Magic, and whether you think race cars are cool or not, or you think it's a stupid trope, the cards are awesome. There's a lot of very unique mechanics in this set. There's a lot of really cool cards that do a lot of neat things and are going to enable some completely new archetypes and some very fun brews from people like me. So most of you who watch me, you watch me because you like to see fun stuff, and this is full of fun stuff, whether you like race cars or not. And I say that because I know this year is going to be a challenge for a lot of people like myself, a lot of older Magic players. There's a lot of Universes Beyond set this year. We got Final Fantasy coming out, which Final Fantasy might not be so bad because there's a very big fan base for Final Fantasy, but I know Spider-Man is probably going to throw some people off, and whatever that last Universes Beyond set of the year is going to be, who knows what that's going to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, I love this game. I'm always going to love this game, and I don't blame them for trying to appeal to people who are coming into the game fresh. You know, like, there's so many new players picking this game up, and it's amazing. It makes me so happy that there are still so many young new people coming to this game, because this game changed my life when I was a kid. You know, this was what took an awkward, 10-year-old who didn't really know how to make friends and taught me how to socialize with people and make friends and learn how to talk to people, because you have to play the game, and I still remember going up to my card shop after school and making new friends and learning how to trade cards. And I mean, this helped me with critical thinking and all kinds of stuff. And this game's just been a part of my life since I was very young, and I love it. And no matter how much it changes, I think it will always be something that makes people happy, and that's what's most important. So, one cool thing I did hear, though, I don't know if any of you guys out there are fans of Robert Jordan or any of his works, the Wheel of Time series, but Brandon Sanderson he's a novel writer, one of my favorite novel writers. Mentioned that there may actually be a Universes Beyond set in his universe called the Cosmere. If any of you know what that is, you'd be pretty excited about that, because it's a really cool universe. So I don't know. I think there's so much potential for Universes Beyond, and I hope we see some cool stuff. I'm not like thrilled about Spider-Man or whatever, but I'm gonna be here streaming, making brews, having a good time, talking about spoilers just like I would for any other set, and I will find a way to love that set, whether I think it's silly or not. So with that, let's go ahead and get into some Chromatic Cube Draft. Boom! Here we are, Chromatic Cube Draft. Let's do best of one. I love this format so much. It's basically a cube of all the most powerful cards on Arena, and we get to draft them. It's full of power. All right. What do we got? Extinction event. sadly, is probably the best card in this set, or in this pack. Snowboard and Simulacra is not that exciting to me. March of Otherworldly Light's pretty good. I like Narset. But in draft, probably pretty hard to make that work. But I don't want to play a deck that plays Extinction Event. That feels boring. Maybe we play a weenie deck. I like Thraben Inspector. Sun Titan. Welcoming Vampire. Ooh, Welcoming Vampire does go well with Thraben Inspector. Maybe Sun Titan will come back around. I like Welcoming Vampire. Let's take Welcoming Vampire. We'll build white weenies. Opponent. Our comrades at the table here are taking their time making their picks. Finally got another pack in the queue here though. Angel of Sanctions. Nothing really for white weenie in this deck though, or in this pack. I think I'm gonna take Tristani as a maybe. That pack was pretty bad. So while we're waiting for people to pick, how have you guys been this year so far? You guys having a good start to the year? Been able to make some positive changes in your life and start the year off better than you ended it? I'd love to hear what you guys are excited about from the set. I'd love to hear what your favorite cards are, what you're looking forward to most, decks that you're excited to try out. Like, let me know. I want to hear about it. We'll get another pack eventually. One day we will get a new pack and pick some cards from it. Don't worry, I'm not gonna sing that much. I got a good amount of golden gems saved up for the new set and 6 draft tokens. So I got a good amount of stuff saved up. What do we got? Temple Garden would give us the ability to play the green white. That's a cool card. Cottontail Caretaker. I don't know anything about these. I don't play alchemy very much, so these alchemy cards are new to me. 2 mana 2/2 that gives a white creature in our hand offspring 1 perpetually. Pretty sweet. Seraphic Steed. I like Seraphic Steed. All right, we'll play green. We'll play green white. Green white little guys. Or I guess just like green white aggro. It doesn't have to be white weenies. Got 2 packs waiting. Come on, buddy. Let me at them. I want to see what's in the packs. There's like nothing good for me in this pack. Yeah, this is a bad pack. $15K is not bad. That's a decent amount of packs. Suppose I'll take... I'm gonna take Overgrown Tomb, just on the off chance that we end up switching from green-white to black-white, maybe. Carrot Cake, Cathar Commando, or Annie joins up. I don't think I want to play. I think I'll play Carrot Cake. Emil the Blessed. It's not bad. Artifact control is going to be fun though, for sure. Whether it's Dimir or blue-white or Esper, whatever flavor it takes, it's going to be a cool deck, I think. I am excited about it. March of Otherworldly Light is a fantastic removal spell. But Temple of Plenty. I think we prioritize removal over fixing. Oh, Sun Titan didn't make it back around. Sad panda. Suppose we'll take the land, keep our options open if we do have to go 3 colors for some reason. Garruk Relentless isn't terrible, but I'm not going to throw him in yet. Selvala's not terrible. Oh. That's better. And Pathway. Genesis Wave probably not doing a whole lot. Although, with Selvala... Wait, did we take Selvala? No, we didn't. Alright. Archangel of Thune. I love Archangel of Thune. I think Hangerback Walker is the card here, though. Right? Actually, but it's double green. I like Hangerback Walker better. Because it can grow and make a bunch of dudes later. Crater Hoof Behemoth. Screw it. I'll find a way to cast it. Oh god, well, it's not white. We're not gonna definitely play this. But there weren't really any better cards for us in the pack, so we might play it. We can find a way to give ourselves some mana. Or cheat it onto the battlefield somehow. And that is a unicorn for Emil. That's pretty cool. Nissa, Vastwood Seer, Atraxa. Oh my goodness. This is really making me wish I had played like mono green ramp. I like Nissa. She triggers Welcoming Vampire. She fetches us a land. Obsidat's such a fun card. Tameo, Field Researcher. Caretaker's Talent. Mondrak. Llanowar Loam Speaker. This is actually a tough pick here. Think I want Caretaker's talent though. Take Spara's headquarters here in case we want to play blue. Homunculus Horde. Restless Prairie is tempting. Primal Might's really good too, and so is Valkyrie's Call. I think I'm gonna take Prairie and see if Valkyrie's Call comes back. I doubt it will, but Hugs, Fountain, Port Bell. I guess we'll take the beach just in case. So it's looking pretty interesting so far, though. Lauren of the Third Path feels like a good card to try. Triggers Vampire, blows up opposing artifacts and enchantments. I like it. I like it a lot. Got one more pack to get through. This is feeling pretty solid though so far. I like what we got going here. And we still got some options in the side here. Garruk might be good enough. Makes a token, remove something. Now let's throw Garruk in there for now. Especially since we've got Caretaker's talent. That actually kind of makes me like it because we play him, make a wolf, draw a card. Ooh, El Damri came back. That makes me want to put. That makes me want to put Craterhoof in. Tap 2 untap creatures you control. So we make a couple of tokens with Garruk and something else, and then tap them and Craterhoof. I like it. Still not sure. But I do like... I love Winota. I think I'm going to take the Fountain Port, though. I'm not 100% sure we're playing that either. Put it in the maybe pile. Titan of Industry, probably not. I'm really wishing I had taken Selvala now. I like Tamiyo. If we decide to play blue, we do have some decent blue, white, green lands, and Tamiyo's a good card. She either lets us draw cards or removes things out of our way. Like, she's actually pretty sweet. None of this matters. None of it matters. Homunculus Horde. Who knows? We could put a Homunculus Horde in our deck. Alright, Elite Spellbinder is a real good card, but so is Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. That's a card that makes me want to play blue. But I think it's Elite Spellbinder. It's a very solid card. Oh boy. Wandering Rescuer, Elspeth Sun's Champion. Oh my gosh. Elspeth Sun's Champion's so good. How often are we getting to 6 mana though? We are drawing a lot of cards. We're not really an aggro deck. Wandering Rescuer is good. Maybe it'll come back. I'm gonna take Elspeth.
And protect the innocent from harm.
Like her, I'm sorry, 6 mana and then make 3 1/1s? That's insane. And then her -3 doesn't hit most of our creatures. Most of our creatures are small enough to just completely ignore her board wipe ability. Doubling season. That's tempting. Augur of Autumn. I'll take the doubling season. I don't think we're gonna play it, but maybe, who knows. Oh, this is tough. Bramble Familiar ramps us and has a relevant adventure late in the game. But Oracle's really good. I think we're gonna take Oracle here. We do have enough, like, stuff that costs more than 4 mana that might be worth it. Insidious Fungus. Or Insidious Fungus is the only card that's relevant here. I'll take it. Having another 1 mana, and it can ramp us, so I guess it's not too bad. Alright. Henge Gate Pathway. Buried in the Garden is in our colors. Takasha's Welcome is another welcoming vampire effect, though. I think we'll take Buried in the Garden, though. We don't have a lot of removal, so... Oh, Claim Jumper could be very strong. Boy, Aurelia makes me wish we were playing red. White Sun's Twilight. I think... Man. I think we take White Sun's Twilight. Third, Mare of Destiny. 4 mana, 2/4 flying lifelink. Whenever you cast a Pegasus, Unicorn, or Horse creature spell, copy it. That's interesting. We do have 2 unicorns in the list, so weirdly works. Voracious Hydra. Maybe. We've got a couple of spots left still, technically. We have 1 spot left in the deck right now that we haven't definitely filled. We got 3 picks left. Doubt we're gonna get anything life-changing in those. Maybe I'm wrong. Bankbuster's pretty sweet. So is Explorer, though. I think we take Explore. So we could just go like this. Something tells me I might want Crater Hoof, though. We do have an okay amount of ramp. Terra Sunder. Or if we're gonna play Crater Hoof, we might as well play Titan as well. The Claim Jumper is actually good. Okay, so we've got to make like 2 cuts, 3 cuts. No, 2 cuts. I actually like Birthing Ritual. So what do we not need? Sorry. I don't know, all this feels good. I'm gonna take out the White Sun's Twilight. All right, one more card to take out. What is it? I don't know, honestly. Hey, what's going on, Lucas? Welcome, welcome. I am doing great. How about you? Thank you so much for joining the stream. Please make sure you take a quick moment to hit that like button on your way in. Get us out there to more people so we can have more fun. I do not know what to take out. All these cards are good. I suppose Carrot Cake is probably... It's a good card. I really like Birthing Ritual. Maybe Hangerback Walker. Alright, we'll try it with this. This looks like a fun deck. I'm excited. Let's crush our enemies. Zephyr 0. Well, I'm Severin 7. What's it to ya? Opponent goes first. That means Claim Jumper could be useful. Hey, they're playing pretty much the same deck we are. Restless Prairie. Opponent gets in. They're playing Boros, though. Nothing on turn 2? No way. Hey! Let's play Sightcat Club and see if it gets removed. Thing can get out of hand quite quickly. Opponent's gonna crack their clue. Get a clue. Aha, a clue, Sherlock. What you gonna do, opponent? Skyclave Apparition. Well, that's annoying. Alright, I guess we'll play Cottontail Caretaker and slap that onto Claim Jumper, and then... Tajik. Whoa, what's going on here? That was a lot of things happening. I think that can go bye-bye. Get in there for 2. And hopefully they have a land drop here this turn so we can at least get some value out of our Claim Jumper. Krenko Street Pen. I guess I'm gonna just give up on trying to get the, we don't need to ramp any more than this, so. Get in for 2. And we got Restless Prairie to buff up all this stuff next turn, so. Brimaz! Oh, I love Brimaz, King of Oreskos. Ooh. Transform Nissa.
I will defend the land from all influence.
Go ahead and make a 4/4. Get in there. Oh no. No attacking into Brimaz. And then she draws us cards every turn. That's pretty sweet. If the opponent wants to get rid of her, he's got to attack with pretty much his whole board. Which means unfavorable trades. Perforos. I do like Perforos. Alright, plus.
Rose and Myers, give me strength.
Emil the Blessed. 3rd, Mare of Destiny. Pay a counter. I suppose we'll get in with our 4/4 here. This is going pretty well. Who'd have thought? Got the Unicorn Bros. Or Pegasus and Unicorn duo, I guess. Inferno Titan. Oh, that's annoying. That gets 2 blockers out of the way, but he's probably gonna get rid of Nissa. Very smart. Inferno Titan is a problem. And we take 2 from the Perforos.
Help me, Ashaya.
Thankfully, we do get to gain 4 life here. Go up to 15. Beautiful. And then we still get to gain some more life on the backswing. So I think we're okay. Zealot. Oh, okay. Never mind. Are we just dead? Opponent can get rid of one of our blockers with Titan. Yeah, we're dead. Okay. Well, that just turned around really quickly for a negative way. Wasn't expecting a threatened effect there. Zealous Conscripts. Hell of a card. That was going so well too, man. Squee Killer. Why do you want to kill Squee, man? Squee's so adorable. We'll keep this hand. Forest for our opponent. We'll play Insidious Fungus. Avison's Pilgrim, so a Bant deck over here. White, Seraphic Steed. Get in with our Fungus. See what our opponent wants to do with their 4 mana. Cultivate. They are ramping it up faster than we are. I'm probably going to March of Otherworldly Light that Pilgrim to slow him down a turn. So let's explore. Draw a card. I don't know. Kind of tempted to just put this land into play. But we don't have another land, so nah, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Pilgrim here. Because we still have to draw another land to guarantee that we can play Elspeth. And playing Emil the Blessed next turn to saddle Steed feels good anyway. Opponent does nothing. Alright. Dost thou have a counter, good sir? Looks like it. Sad Panda, and they make 4 treasures. That doesn't feel good. Well, I'm not having a good time. Been getting whooped up on by jank stuff, man. Spell Swindle's a great card. I love that card. Multiple choice, X4. They get a 4/4. They bounce a thing, draw a card. Gotta try to resolve this now. Nope. Darn. Come on, man. Counter spells are no fun. Oh, they don't have a counter. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make 3 1/1s.
I will defend my own honor.
It's Mouse Elspeth. I love it. I love me some Mouse Elspeth. Most badass mouse in all the land. What do you got, opponent? Have a lot of mana available. Quite a lot indeed. They have their own Elspeth. What?
The quest is not over until peace has blessed me.
Uh-oh.
My life will support yours.
It's gonna be a contest of who gets their Elspeth off first. Aether Channeler. Gonna bounce something? Make a bird? Nope. Oh, okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. Think you're slick, huh? They're still touching their treasure like they want to cast something else.
time to fight is now. I will give everything I have. We have all trained for this.
This is gonna be tough. We're doing better on cards than our opponent at the moment. We've got Thraben Inspector and Insidious Fungus, both draws cards. But we are at a disadvantage with them having their Elspeth a turn ahead of ours. Gotta find a way to get through. See what happens. I mean, if they let this trade go, I'm happy. Cameo. That needs to go too.
About any lunar anomalies you have experienced. Study yields enlightenment.
I will give everything I have.
All right. Let's go ahead and saddle up. Let's go after Elspeth here. Make a 3/3. What's his last card? Oh, that's annoying. But we do have 2 flyers now. Okay, he puts a hedge maze onto the battlefield. So he's got to deal with our flyers or we can actually start dealing with his stuff. This is turning around slowly.
Must act.
But he's gonna get to draw 2 cards here off Tameo. We can draw some cards next turn. Might have to... Tameo might be a higher priority. If he's smart, he'll tap down my flyers with Tameo, honestly. That would be the smart thing to do. Because if he can ultimate this Elspeth, then I'm probably just screwed. Let's see what he chooses to do. Protecting Elspeth at all costs should be his goal right now. Regardless of what he does though, if I attack the Elspeth, yeah, smart move.
I am glad to help my colleagues.
I will defend my own honor.
He's got to block all this or he doesn't get to ultimate her, so either way I win. At this point I'm not trying to ultimate my Elspeth, I just want to keep making tokens because I can buff it all up with Caretaker's talent now. Yep. Cool. So now he only gets 2 things that get +2/+2. My Elspeth will still live through that, so he wants to give up his Elspeth. That's fine. But I definitely made it way less valuable. That's what I thought.
We have all trained for this.
I figured he would probably just go ahead and try to keep making tokens, but now he's in a position where we have the advantage by a lot. He can draw a couple cards of Tameo if he wants. Still tapping stuff.
Every story is worth listening to.
What's his last card? Pass his turn.
I will lift up those around me.
That's pretty cool. Look at this board. Oh, this is cool. All right. Problem is this does leave his Elspeth with enough to board wipe. So we're gonna end up losing our token steeds here more than likely. But we keep everything else, so. There's no way we could get through enough damage to stop him from doing that, unfortunately, so. His best hope is to just sack that Elspeth, most likely. Yep.
A battle lost. I will give
We still have
everything
quite
I
an
have.
impressive board, so I'm not that stressed about it. And the ability... One with the multiverse, alright. Does he have something crazy to cast? Oracle of Moldiah. Extra lands. I mean, he's doing stuff. But that's all. Mirari's Wake's pretty sweet. That's game, though. We ultimate Elspeth, everything gets +2/+2 in flying, and boom!
New data is always welcome.
Beautiful.
For the innocent.
Opponent can bounce something with the Hornlock Whale. Not gonna be enough. GG! That was a long and arduous game, but we got there. That's why I love Chromatic Cube, because you get to have fun games like that. All right. If you're just joining us, we are playing some Chromatic Cube. I crafted from our cube draft a blue-white mid-range deck. It is quite fun. Please make sure, if you have not already, that you hit that like button, because every single one of those helps get us out into that wonderful YouTube algorithm and means that we get to have more fun people here chatting and having a good time. So I would greatly appreciate that. Forest. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Forests and Birds of Paradise. Oh no, they're doing it better than us. Well, the good news is if they start ramping on lands, they're not ramping on lands. All right, so Carrot Cake. I think I'm good on lands for now. Let's play Birthing Ritual. Get an Insidious Fungus, why not? Oh, come on. That wasn't nice. I do like Nissa. Nice, and now that means that next turn we can flip Nissa. And this is pretty sweet. Intrepid Adversary. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. This is pretty good too, though.
I am the voice of Zendikar, and my will reigns supreme. I will do what is necessary.
Alright, unfortunately we're gonna have to chump, but then we can bury it in the garden. We just want to keep Nissa alive. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Well, I guess we can keep our Oracle alive now. Ouch! Alright, that's a problem. Our opponent is just being a huge pain in the butt here. Buried in the garden. Man, I want to get rid of the adversary, but I mean, the virtue grows everything every turn, so I don't really know what to hit. I guess the virtue. That doesn't feel good at all. I mean, the opponent's down to 2 cards now. That's a really good one. Gets rid of our Oracle. Ow. Oh, he gets to do both because if Annie joins up. That's fair. We're just dead, right? No. It's not looking good, though. We're pretty much dead. We gotta draw something pretty spectacular this turn. Elspeth would be nice. That's not an Elspeth. It's something that blocks Kolga, though, and draws us a card. I'll take it. Come on, deck. Oh my god, more lands is not what we needed. It bought us a turn, but... Dear God. Okay, yeah, we're probably toast at this point. We literally get to live one more turn. I don't think we've got a way out of this, though. Okay. GG, opponent. Not quite enough. Jake G. Alright, Jake G. This is a good hand. I like it. Keep. The Raven Inspector. I love this artwork. It's like, ugh. Seraphic Steed. Get in with Inspector. And then we got a great follow-up of Elite Spellbinder, which will let us saddle our Seraphic Steed if our opponent doesn't do anything about it. Actually, I think I'm gonna play that. When it's tapping the red and the green, keeping the white available. Hey, don't mess with my unicorn, bro. Don't mess with my unicorn, bro. Like, look, that's such a beautiful horse. Why would you want to hurt that? Why would you want to mess with it? He's considering my plea. Maybe he has a heart. He's untapping the mana. Did we win him over? No! No! We are not friends anymore. Nope. Friendship forfeit. We're not friends no more. Time to smash face. You mess with my unicorn, I mess with your face, bro. Swamp. He's playing 5 colors. Big score. And GG. That's what you get messing with my unicorn, man. What's wrong with you? Very protective of my horse-like creatures. Let's keep it up. Can't lose anymore. We gotta just win, win, win. Mohammed. We get to go first. This is a little slow, though. I'll try it. It's not bad enough that I want to put it back for a worse hand. plains for us. We like to play plains. Our opponent plays a forest. Alright, March of Otherworldly Light means we at least have the option to remove something on their turn if they play something super scary. I love this pet. I love the dragons too, though. They're awesome. Restless Prairie. All right, we're gonna play Caretaker's Talent. Loot Exuberant Explorer. Oh, sweet. We're actually gonna get to use our claim jumper. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Although the opponent can just go land, land, scary, horrible, awful thing here. So maybe it doesn't matter. Augur of Autumn. So they can get some lands off top of their library. Nissa. They can't play any more lands though. So they can't trigger her this turn. So decisions on how we handle this. Well, I suppose we play Elspeth. And we make some soldiers.
No more than I will give everything I have.
And then we can pump everything up with Caretaker's Talent and exile something with Otherworldly Light. Nissa flips, that's fine.
You will not delay Zendikar's convalescence.
See if they have something scary. They can get something scary with loot. Can always wipe the board though. Timeless Witness is pretty good. I actually really like this version of loot. Titan of Industry, ouch. Can blow up our Caretaker's Talent, which messes us up pretty bad actually. We'll flip a Nissa of our own.
Those who do not speak to the land cannot be trusted. A rose is not without thorns. We will always stand against evil.
You've got a good head on those shoulders. Get off my land for the wilds.
Is this gonna let Nissa go? Okay.
I take responsibility for this loss.
You can get her back with Timeless Witness, but I mean, it still slows him down quite a bit. Now we're kind of playing Super Friends over here now. And then Tuco Slicer. That's unfortunate. Okay. I guess they just gave up. They're just too scared of our planeswalkers. All right, we are 3-2 now. Let's at least get to 4. At the very least. Let's not. I don't want to walk away with less than I spent. Augustoleo. Opponent is going first. This is a reasonable hand though. We'll keep. Swamp. We'll play a Plains. Swamp again. Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. Alright. Seraphic Steed. See if that lives a turn. Swap again. Nope. Liliana gets rid of it. How wooed.
Before brunch. Off you go.
When it smacks us for 3, gets a new zombie. Let's go ahead and Elite Spellbinder. Take a peek in that hand. What you got going on there? Soul Transfer, Unstoppable Slasher, Gix. I guess this, because that's what removes Elite Spellbinder. We need to get rid of Liliana here. Him playing Gix Yawgmoth Praetor, though, is also not very good for us. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let him draw. Ten out of 10, not willing to let Liliana stay on the board. Hopefully I draw a 4-drop creature of some kind. Like, Caretaker's Talent wouldn't be a terrible thing to play, but
Drop it.
it's really not what I want to be doing with my turn next turn. Carrot Cake does help. I like a meal on top. Let's get rid of her. Now we can at least block Jadar, so he's not going to want to attack with Jadar. Oh, he's got the Bloodletter combo in his deck. That's fun. I actually don't think I want this anymore. Unfortunately, we have to take 4 from his stupid zombie. Buried in the Garden is a good spell. It's not exactly what I wish I was doing with my turn, but we're just... Problem is we've just been trying to catch up from behind this whole game. So I'm not super confident that we're gonna get through this. Is this a sorcery? It is. Okay. Alright, we got rid of Gix, that's good. Well, I can just play out Nixilis though now. Or Lolth. What? Okay.
Envy the strong, for they consume.
That's fun and fair and reasonable. That's a thing you can do. Okay, yeah, we're dead. We tried. There's nothing we can do. Like, our hand's just too slow for what they're doing. I probably should have mulliganed my opener, if we're being honest. We got 1250 back, though. And we had fun. Oh, no, 1250 was for my quest. We got 2000 back and then some cards and a couple of gems. Let's see. Well, don't quite have enough time to do another draft. See if I do, if I have any standard brews that I could play for you guys for a little while. You know what? We can play this deck. This deck is... A friend of mine wanted me to make Malcator Purity Overseer work. And so I did. I built a deck that cares about his triggers and makes lots of artifacts. And it's pretty sweet. It's basically an aggressive deck for the most part, kind of token strategy. And Nahiri's Resolve to bounce a whole bunch of things like Tinker's Totes and Animpa Calls and stuff like that to give it all haste and plus one plus oh. That's a pretty fun deck, so we're gonna give it a try. Play some standard for the last little bit of the stream here. I hope you guys are okay with that. I don't want to build a draft deck for you guys and then not get to play it, so the drafting process usually takes about a half an hour. Opponent goes first. I don't dislike this hand. Swamp and Diregraph Ghoul. Swamp and 2 damage from the Diregraph Ghoul. They're really tanking on whether they should play a 2-drop. I'm gonna get this down. I'm tempted to just play Legion Extruder and get rid of Diregraph Ghoul, but if this survives, the life gain will be worth it. It's not gonna survive. Opponent has a cut down or something. Or an Edict. Okay. It was worth it. It was worth the effort, in my opinion. As much as I'd like to, I won't make the same mistake again. I'm just doing a whole lot of nothing. I'm gonna go get a blue with this. Come on, opponent, let me get my land. Let me get it. I'm gonna play just this here. And if they go to destroy it, I can either try to protect it or I can sack it. Wait, they chose non-token, so we're gonna sacrifice our non-token creature and make a token and render their Shieldred's Edict useless. Nice try, opponent. Cemetery Recruitment. Gets back Diregraph Ghoul. Mandible Justiciar and Legion Extruder. Get him for 3. Mr. Winkles. Mr. Wrinkles is yelling at me. Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Well, that's annoying. Gonna hold on to the Surge of Salvation in case we need it. Ow. That's no good. No thanks. Wait. Oh, that only happens to creatures I control. I'm so bad at life. Oh no. I'm just dead. Oh well. They got us. Mono black infinite combo crap. Let's try again. FM arm deck. We get to go first. This looks good. Just need a land. Any land. Duress, sure. Probably take talent. That's not a land. Give me a land, please. Looks like our just this year is not gonna live. Another duress. Tinker's Tote probably be the best play here. They take Season of the Burrow, the thing we are farthest away from casting, and they cut down our just this year. And we don't draw. Okay. Standard doesn't want me to play this deck right now. I'm gonna try one more game with it. I'm not gonna sit here and play games where I don't draw lands. That's no fun. All right. Come on, opponent. Element 666. This is slow. This is better. We'll put back Worldwake Helm here. Actually, maybe we put back Talent. Nah, I think it's Worldwake Helm we put back. Get Bivouac down. I mean, it sucks if we don't draw an untapped third land, but it is what it is. Bandit's Talent, sure. We found one! Hooray! The magic gods are back to smiling upon us. Now if the opponent wants to make us discard stuff, that means they're probably not killing our stuff, which is great. Oh, please, please just... Well, I guess I get rid of just this here. I want to play Crystal Barricade, but... I do not think that's the answer. Let's go ahead and level this up, so that we can level it up again next turn and go ham. The opponent can't deal with our Neem Pakal, they are dead. Actually, even if they can. GG, opponent. That's what the deck's supposed to do. See? You see why I was getting frustrated? Because look at that. That's turn, what, 5? Turn 5? Negative 11? Very nice. All right. I'm going to play a couple of games with this deck. If you want to see how I built this deck and see my current testing stats with it before this, I released a video today, my second episode of Bite Size Brews. If you are already subscribed to me and you want to support me, please make sure you check out those videos because it is a new kind of video, so the YouTube algorithm is having a little bit of trouble figuring out who exactly to show those videos to. And you, as my subscribers, are the only ones that really see it for the most part. So if you could take a quick moment to check those out, maybe throw a like their way, I would greatly appreciate that. That was sick, thank you. Maybe I'll play a couple more games with it. I got enough time to play a couple more games with that deck before I switch. It is a really fun deck. And welcome, Jordan. Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate you being here. Top Deck Dad. Pretty sure this is another YouTuber. This is pretty slow. This is better, much better. This is reminiscent of my last hand. Put back talent here. I have played Jeskai Narset. Yes, I have. It was a spell slinging deck actually built around her and Lila Slickshot. I wonder if I still have that deck laying around somewhere. Let me check. More black decks we're playing. Always fun. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. Let's see if an Impakal lives. Nope. Oh, but thank you for giving us 2 map tokens to grow our Justiciar. This is such an underrated common. Thank you very much, Lucas. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I found it. We'll play Malcator. Get in there for 4. I'll show you the Jeskai Narset deck after this game, Jordan. It's pretty fun. Steel Seraph. Grow the Justiciar. This is still, in my opinion, one of the most underrated commons ever. Tinker's Tote's great. Let's give it Vigilance. Actually, let's give it Flying, because he can make fish. I don't want him to do that. I want him to take his damage and like it. Makes a fish, draws a card, blocks the 3/3, takes 5, down to 6. Oh, Sunfall. That sucks. I'm gonna play Crystal Barricade because I'm hoping to draw land. So we can resolve this Nahiri's resolve. Beza. Hey, we found a land. Nice. Now our tokens from Tinker's Tote have haste, and we can bounce the tote with the result. Oh. Rude opponent. Not letting us have fun. At this point, we're probably just toast. Opponent has stabilized. I mean, I guess the game's not over. See if we can get a counter on this. No. Or not. Okay. I was really hoping I could get a counter on that so I could at least block one of these 4 power creatures, but no dice. Well, it's gonna make a copy of the wall. Sure. And it's gonna sack a wall, looks like. Yep. Draws a card. This is a beautiful turn of events. Well, now I'm tempted to surge. No, okay. Well, that turned around nicely. If they don't have a board wipe, which I'm sure they do. I know there's no way I'm lucky enough they don't have a Sunfall here. If they don't have a board wipe, then I think we might have it. Deadly cover-up, of course. Alright, but I mean, we still have a Caretaker's talent now, so we've got hope. He gets rid of our Nahiri's resolves. Very smart move. And another Builder's talent, so he's got more walls and draws more cards. Justiciar. Virtue of Persistence. All right, there's a small chance that we can draw a way out of this. That's not it. I'm sure Kai is in here somewhere. Okay. I'm not gonna put you through another 10 turns of this while I try to survive their onslaught. Their engine is too good at this point. Alright, so the Spellslinger list. This is what I came up with for Narset. There's only 2 Narset in here, but trying to remember exactly my thought process when I built this. Well, we were playing Rite of the Dragon Caller too, which is probably unnecessary in this deck. Let me take that out of there. Yeah, I like that. All right, so basically the goal was to get down either Storm Chaser's talent, Artist talent to help us kind of buy stuff back or draw and discard, and then cast a whole bunch of multicolored spells with Lila, Undefeated Slickshot on the battlefield so that we would get to cast them for free later. And then recast a bunch of Lightning Helixes and Boris Charms and Heroic Reinforcements and Ill-Timed Explosions and Push Pulls. And the cool part about cards like Push Pull is that we can cast the 2-mana side of this, and then it still plots it, and we can cast Pull for free, which is really awesome. And then, you know, getting free Ill-Timed Explosions is really awesome. Same thing with Heroic Reinforcements. Especially because this gives creatures that we control haste, so we can like play this earlier in the game after Lila's on the field, and then play like a Narset later, and then play this for free, pump up the Narset, and get it back from the graveyard. It's actually a pretty cool deck. I don't know that it's good, but it's neat, so we'll try it out. It's definitely a really interesting idea for a deck, so. And it's full of removal, so it's good against aggressive decks. It's not really about otters so much. Ral makes otters, and the other thing makes otters, so it feels like it's kind of ottery, but it's mostly just because we want to buy back our spells and then eventually level this up to get free prowess creatures. This looks good. We need a white mana, but there's the white mana. But that means I can't play Storm Chaser's talent. That's okay. We'll keep the land. We want to draw lands. Baral and Karizev is also an underrated card in my opinion. Johnny's Pride Mate, huh? It's gonna be tough to get rid of. Assuming that they can gain some life this turn. Another Pride Mate. I'm not gonna block. Get the Spire Bluff Canal down. We'll get Baral and Karizev down. Has first strike, so if they can't gain life, they can't attack. Essence Channeler. They need to gain some life somehow. That's one way to gain some life, I suppose. That is annoying. That is very annoying. All right. Oh, that just ruined everything. Okay, they win. That was just bad luck. I honestly just... We've got, like, 9 spells that would have dealt with that board. We just didn't draw them. All his stuff would have grown by 3. Like, because my plan was going to be to Boros Charm and give the Otter Double Strike, which would have been enough to kill the Ajani's Pride Mate that had the Shelter by Ghost on it and give us back our Karizev. But Linden to follow that up was just insane. Jade the Walker 420. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I did have a sideboard for it. I didn't build it for best of 3 though, I don't believe. I like best of 3, but anytime I make best of 3 videos, they do terribly. Unfortunately, best of 1 is the most popular format on Arena by a long shot. But I can absolutely build a sideboard for it. To give you an idea. The deck would probably be a lot better in best of 3. I doubt Lila lives through the turn. Oh, okay. No stick either. So no instant speed removal. Wow. All right. Okay. It's unfortunate, but we still have a free lightning helix now, which is nice. We've got a lot of burn in our hand, actually. Archangel Elspeth. Oh, it's the same deck we just played, basically.
I will put an end to this misery. Ready, arms!
Yeah, Lila does feel like Arcane Bombardment a little bit. Not quite as crazy as Arcane Bombardment, but still pretty good. Oh, come on. And rest in peace, so we can't get anything out of our graveyard. Joy. Okay.
Shine bright, hero.
I don't take pleasure in this, but we gotta get rid of this Elspeth.
I am finished running. I will return as many times as necessary.
Oh my gosh, okay, we were just having terrible luck. Another Elspeth.
I have been reborn. To the skies.
All right. Wow. All right.
A whole legion of enemies. I love the challenge.
Gives them a blocker and everything. Super annoying.
Ready, arms.
Oh my gosh. I'm just drawing all the lands.
You're not safe.
This is our fight to win.
Pretty solid.
Doesn't it like light get cracked?
Looks like they have removal for our Ral. How polite.
Together we can shift the current.
All right, we got rid of the Elspeth.
But I believe you can win.
This Kaya's gonna be a problem though.
I don't move without knowing my
Oh my gosh. I don't want to draw any more lands, please. Oh gosh, there's an Ashiok.
A beautiful nightmare. Leave no mind unspoiled.
Opponent sacrifices to draw a card. My luck, I swear. Scry away a land. Draw and discard a bunch of lands. Still draw more lands. This deck is more designed to fight aggro decks, but we're not playing any aggro decks. I do not have an Azorius control list. I won't lie, I don't have the patience to play that. That deck just bores me to tears. Shivan Reef. At least our opponent's got to be playing something interesting, or maybe not. They discard a land, okay. Mountain. Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Is this a Capricious Hellcaller deck? Looks like it. I'm not gonna like this, am I? I swear, I'm just playing all control and combo right now. Like, it's all I've played since I switched to standard, except for the one mono white deck. Like, where's all the mice? Like, give me the mono red and the Boros and the. Like, look, this hand would demolish them. All right, opponent. Do your annoying thing. It's okay, I got another one. They're that desperate to trigger this? That was such a terrible move. I would never give this up just to put a counter on this. That's ridiculous. I don't care what's in their hand. Okay, so they're gonna flip it this turn. And our slick shot. Okay, bouncing's fine. Can we draw an untapped land? That would be great. That's not an untapped land. Very frustrating. Yeah, it is a Hellcaller deck. Or Hellraiser or whatever. Not usually. I usually play on ladder. I have considered doing standard events with them though. But it's just the people playing in those are not as competitive in my opinion. And it's also the queue times are terrible. Well, we get rid of their Capricious Hellraisers. Now they're gonna unsummon it. Great. What's the point of that? Why would they torch the tower of their own Hellraiser? It's a very annoying deck. And he got the Season of Weaving again. Jeez, okay. My luck tonight. I haven't had this bad of luck in a standard stream in a while, but I am playing some pretty janky stuff. Let me switch it up to something a little more reasonable. Let's play some What in Tarnation. This is a fun deck. You want to see something fun? This is fun. This is a deck that I can break arena with. I'm not even going to show you what it is. I'm just gonna I'll let you see it as it comes. Only got a few more minutes left in the stream, so I'm going to try to have fun with it. Oh yeah, Oko's in the list. All about the Oko. Gotta give him the Oko smooch. Oh. Of course, now that I switch from a control deck, now we play Boros Mice. Can't make this stuff up, guys. It's not like I don't have a chance here, but they got to go first, and we don't have any real removal. Sure. That's all they're doing with their turn. That's pretty good for us. Let's glimpse the core. We need the ramp more than we need the beanstalks. Besides, we can play beanstalk and this town ain't big enough next turn. Raging Battle Mouse. Okay, at least they're taking a little bit of a slow approach here. Up the beanstalk, draw a card. There's an Oko. No thanks. ahead and play Oko. Let's make an elk.
This will make things more exciting.
Start trying to develop a board here a little bit. Okay, that was rude. That was very rude. Ten out of 10. Do not approve. All right, let's play Beanstalk. Edge Maze, Surveil. Overlord of the Flood Pits. Don't think I want that right this second. And then we'll counter whatever they play this turn. Maybe they'll just play a Mabel. That sounds like something worth countering to me. Opponent still has something to target their stupid Swordmaster with, though. Jeez. Down to 2. That's a card. It's a good card. Hopefully they don't have more monstrous rages. Thanks. Do you not know how this works? GG. No, they have burn spell, that's why. Oh, never mind. Okay. Oh no. That saved us. Gruff triplets, man. Whoever said Gruff triplets was a bad card. Alright, one more game. One more game, just because I'm having so much fun. Mill Wallskin. That was, hey, listen, that was a rough game for us too. Genesis Wave can go back. That was not a good game for us at all. Like, the opponent didn't have like a crazy start, but I mean, they had a much better start than we did, so. Rampity ramp, ramp, ramp. Opponent's playing Gruul. I'm gonna go ahead and play Oko. Say hello to my little elk.
To the death. I'd like you to know. You're falling behind.
Give him the Oko smooch. Daddy Oko says hi. Oh, come on. Lame.
I leave chaos in my way.
Make your own luck. I'll take a free Overlord next turn. I figured we had time to take a turn off. You keep exiling my graveyard. I don't care, dude. Ooh, doubling season says, give me double land tokens. I need one more creature or one more card type. Breakout. Screaming Nemesis. That is annoying. We can't block that super great. I am not running Coma actually, because we want as many of the things in this deck to be not legendary as possible because of Oko. So Oko's ultimate, the goal of the deck is to play Doubling Season and play Oko and immediately ultimate him. And so he makes copies of non-land permanents we control, and if we're making copies of legendary things, then the legendaries just die, so we don't want that. We have a lot of lands. Also, this Overlord is never coming off. Okay. I'm super fine with that. Because I was actually starting to get worried about that Keen Overseer becoming a 7/7. Breakout. Alright, up the Beanstalk. Draw a card. Manowar Elves not doing a whole lot for us. No attacks. Patchwork Beastie, sure. Fear of Missing Out, sure. Discards a Fear of Missing Out. Another Screaming Nemesis, you got it. This is rough. Hey, I'll take it. Watch this. Hold on. All right. So 9. So 3. 1, 2, 3. Say hello. Look at this. Look at that. 12 Screaming Nemesises and 6 Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Oh, that deck is fun. I love that deck. Okay, well, it is 11 p.m. EST. That means it is time for the stream to end, unfortunately. Thank you guys all so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure having you. I'm so appreciative of every single one of you who's been sticking around for me through this stream. If you want any of the lists that you saw me play in the last hour, just leave a comment after the VOD posts and I will post a link or a copy pasted version of the list or something. But yeah, so I'm really excited about Aetherdrift. I hope you guys are excited about it. I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing what I have to come up with it, because I have a lot of ideas. I'm real excited. And this has been an absolute pleasure and a blast, and I hope that you guys had fun. I hope you'll take a quick moment to hit that like button, and if you are not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. We're getting super close to 1,000 subscribers, a milestone which I am super excited to be that close to. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. You guys are what make this possible for me every day, and I'm so grateful for it. So with that, I will catch you guys in the next one.